Just this little bit. And that should be good. Hello people of the internet. It is I, Soulrack Dragon here, back with more Fate Grand Order. We are going to finish the Synchronized Intellect Nation Sin, the third Lostbelt, in today's stream. Now, I may have to step off for short periods of time because my mother did just recently get a positive COVID test, so if you have any form of prayers or anything, please keep them in mind at this time. But I don't want to make a big deal out of it, because she's not feeling the greatest, but thankfully she is not in terrible conditions right now. But, you know, it can always take a turn, so I'm being cautiously optimistic that she'll be good. But, depressing news aside, we are going to continue with and finish the third Lostbelt in today's stream. Last time, well, we got quite the revelation with Akuta there. She's a true ancestor, I think, or a dead apostle ancestor, one of the two. I can't remember which it was exactly, because it was shocking, to say the least, that, yeah. So, we're gonna be jumping into Section 12, dealing with the consequences of finding that out. She also ate the Prince of Landling, her servant. Because, yeah, apparently they can do that. The dead apostles can. Although it does bring the question up. So I know there's a distinct difference between a dead apostle ancestor and a true ancestor. In fact, I'm going to just look it up real quick. Because if memory serves, one of those two is notoriously hard to kill since they can just rewind their personal time space. So, how did she die in an explosion? So dead apostle are the vampires. True ancestor, that's it. True ancestors, meanwhile, are incarnated nature spirits. Sorry. So if she's a true, then she's unique amongst even vampires. She's an incarnated nature spirit. They can use the marble phantasm, so they're said to be ranked higher. I don't think she's a true ancestor then, because that would make her incredibly more powerful than not. So she's likely just a dead apostle ancestor, which is a vampire. Yeah. Okay, she's not one of the 27. She's hopefully not one of the 27, otherwise we are fucked. Considering primate murder is one of the 27 dead apostle ancestors. And, well, he is the dead apostle ancestor. So yeah, let's hope that she is not one of the 27, because we would be screwed then. But I guess there's only one way to find out. We are against Mystery Servant here. We'll have red hair and hey, Wildfet, welcome to the stream. Howby things. As much as I would love to have Melt be in the front lines here, I don't know what I'm up against here, so I think we'll stick with Gil as long as whatever fighting is not a Lancer, we should be good. Things could be better, man. Things could be better. Yeah. Had a positive diagnosis in very close families, so, you know. Here's hoping they turn out okay. Hey, Mysterious Grim Reaper, welcome to the stream. Howby things. Oh, and by the way, Wildfet, I did mean to tell you that you were right on Van Gogh. The Van Gogh we summoned is actually Van Gogh. She's an assassin, and she's buff. Wait, what do we just got a buff there. It's a guts for 1 turn. That's not ominous in the slightest, is it? 1 turn of guts? Surely that doesn't mean anything here, right? Gil, I need you to NP chain here, man. if possible. Yep. And, as I said, her spirit absorb. Oh, that's why we got the guts. Maybe. Yep, this is why we got the guts. Oh boy. What's she gonna do? Eternal Lament. The eternal will of one abandoned, but even by death. 3 years of compassion, first life. Buster boost. Inflict curse on all my units. Oh, Koyan's just gonna keep dropping the guts on me. That's actually very nice of her. I think it'll be safe to use illusion here. She had a positive diagnosis, so she's not feeling the greatest. Thankfully, she's not in critical state, but she did test positive, so life's gonna get a little interesting for me here. Oh, that's not much damage. Kill. My mom's not been feeling the best the past couple days, and she tested positive. So, yeah. Indeed, indeed. It's gonna be interesting these next couple of days. So, if you do say prayers or anything like that, please do keep her in your prayers. Oh, I hope so as well. I hope so as well. Yeah, I'm just glad. To be honest, the timing for it is pretty good, actually. Because I haven't been to work since Wednesday, which is when she started presenting symptoms. So that means that the chances of me having infected a patient is thankfully very low. You know. Thankfully. Yeah, I'm just, if I have to step away for a little bit because she gives me a call, then that is why, just as a word of warning. Also, I am not doing jack diddly squat for damage here. And Bitch did not give us a buff there. Bye-bye! Okay, we're just getting rinsed here. Like, some complete and utter rinsing is happening here, and I'm not enjoying that. In fact, I'm enjoying it so little that I'm going to withdraw and come back with Melt in the lead to say, scrub you. Yep, I am trying to watch my language. It is earlier in the day, and it's not a mature stream, so you know. Alright, so Melt is going to be in the lead. She's going to have the Golden Sumo. Merlin is highly beneficial here, so we'll drop Waver in favor of Scotty. As for CE, we'll throw upon her the other fragment of 2030 I have. Get that Star Gen. Yeah, I'm not really sure. This is gonna be a tough fight. I only told 2 of my best friends, and they told me to go try and get her sick and go to school. Spot on everyone. Yeah, that's probably not the best of ideas, you know. I'm not really sure what the laws would be, but I know in America that would be considered assault and might even be considered biological warfare. So, thank you for not doing such a thing. Okay, Guts will last us 1 turn. Melt Virus. If we can get enough charge this turn. This fight is honestly just a puzzle fight more than anything. There's other effects that can be applied to them as well. Alright. This turn is a little bit more idealized. We get 1 NP off. Toss Illusion. Melt Virus. Sadistic Nature. We don't need the stars. We will take the Primordial Rune. And the Blizzard. Alright, Melt. I need you to melt away at her defenses! She's scaly. And I'm beginning to wonder if this is indeed a true ancestor, not a dead apostle. Because she would be powerful as... Which is good. Good attack Melt, and the NP will push her over. Every single time the later, and her husband only had covered later, and it was positive again. I mean, it is known that you can catch it again after catching it once. So he might have just been very unlucky, to be honest. Melt has the guts, but she's gonna need the evasion to stay alive. The extra stars are sadly useless here. And... boop, boop, boop. Come on, live. Push comes to shove, I might need to bring a stall team for this. Alright, come on, Melt. 66,000, do it. Yes! Okay. Please let that be game set match. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness we survived. That was actually a tough fight. That was legitimately a very tough fight. NP every turn, an AoE one. The guts every turn helped, but... damn. See if kids don't get the vaccine and parents want to fight against it, kids will be taken from them, in which case they can do that since next year you'll be 18, you can come back, but they try to stop you from your burp, heads will fall. That does seem like a little bit of an extreme, but I can see where they're coming from, because there's a lot of people that are like anti-vaccine and stuff, and that just puts other people at risk. It's a little complicated. How could she attack with such power so quickly? She should have run out of magical energy ages ago. She's not using her own magical energy at all. She's sucking up the endless supply of mana from the world itself and using it as her own. So this is what a true ancestor, an incarnated elemental, could do. I never would have thought China had one of its own. So she's a true ancestor, so we are screwed royally. Oh boy. Finding one of them is like taking on a tsunami or a hurricane with your fists. I'm sorry, that went right over my head. Could you dumb it down to, say, horse level? Simply put, we've been quite thoroughly backed into a corner there. Huh? That's bad, right? Oh yes, if we're all going to die anyways, might I suggest you blow yourself up so everyone except me can truly go out with a bang? Will you two just shut up already? I don't think I can keep this up any longer, Master. Enough playing around, Akuda. No, now that you have revealed your true form, I suppose we should no longer call you by your alias. Then you have never given us any other name. What should we call you now? So take it, and if they try to take me away, you will run away again and again. Yeah, that's probably not the best idea, running away, though, because they could lock you up in that case. You would call my wrath, my curses merely playing around a worldly king. What else would you call this? Did you endure eternity merely so you could curse these people to death? Undying one, true one, we have too much respect for you to see you lose your way like this. Return here before you go any further. Recall the pledge you have yet to keep, and do what must be done first. So you do not want me to do anything unless it benefits you, is that it? We are telling you to remember what it is you came here to do. Just what is the nature of the relationship between these two? A pledge? What does that mean? She made some other deal with Qin Shi Hong that I don't know about? Those of us who endure eternity should not be so swept up in fleeting emotions. You must not forget what it is you truly seek, how close you are to having it in your grasp, and what you must yet do. Alright, I understand. I shall follow your advice for now. Yu Mei Ren has left the battlefield. I'm exhausted. This stuff can be such a pain. As much as I despise humans, I do have to give them credit for one thing. The weapons they make are so much easier to use. There's nothing better than something that lets you kill a bunch of humans just by pulling a trigger. Koyan Sakaya, I take it you knew that Akuto Hinako was actually Yu Mei Ren all along? Yeah, who is that, please? A notable figure from the Chu Han contention, which took place after the death of Qin Shi Huang. She was the hegemon king of Western Chu, Jingyo's lover, and said to have met an untimely death in the wake of his defeat. Does this mean that Yu Mei Ren wasn't human, and that she's also been alive for thousands of years? It was shocking enough to find out that legendary Yu Mei Ren was actually a bloodsucker, or rather a true ancestor. But then, why would she bother infiltrating Chaldea and applying to be a race shift candidate? And if that weren't enough, now she's a crypto holed up in the Chinese Lostbelt? None of this makes any sense. What makes even less sense is how the heck did a true ancestor die to an explosion? They can rewind their personal time-space, for Pete's sake. I think. But how can something on the level of a divine spirit die to an explosion? It doesn't make sense. That's the trouble I'm having here. True, if you will look at all the facts, the odds seem pretty long indeed. But if you trace them back to their source, the answer couldn't be simpler. This all happened because Maresbury planned for it to happen. As I suspected, Dr. Maresbury Enosphere may have seemed like a good person, but at heart he was still a mage. A mage's idea of doing good and a human's idea of doing good are very, very different. And Maresbury may have just been a person, but it seems like he also managed to do good, that is, his best as a mage. I expect he must have been anxious. I imagine he had to wonder if race shifting was even possible, and if it was, whether humans could actually survive the process. I guess that's what prompted him to bring in Yu Mei Ren on as a backup plan of sorts. No doubt he must have thought that even if it turned out humans can't withstand a race shift, she would either survive or could be resuscitated thanks to her sturdy true ancestor body. That must be why he covered up her true identity under the name Akuto Hinako, and sent her a formal invitation to Chaldea after she'd been hiding away in the margins of history for centuries. That would have been before the previous version of me was summoned to Chaldea. I do recall Akuto Hinako was already part of Chaldea's staff even before Team A was formed. Maresbury must have wanted to prove their viability of reshifting come hell or high water. Agreed. He must have meant to use her as a guinea pig to make the experiment work. Even if there turned out to be no mere humans who fit the bill whatsoever. But as luck would have it, not only did there turn out to be plenty of viable candidates, the demi-servant plan he had come up with to improve the odds of summoning a heroic spirit after the race shift worked out as well. All of which meant that Maresbury no longer needed to bother giving Akuto Hinako more special treatment. She was ultimately assigned to Team A for no other reason than to fill the roster, so to speak. Now do you understand? Your great director was hiding a true ancestor in his organization all this time. It's no wonder Chaldea came under the UN's scrutiny after something that shady. The fact that none of the surviving staff had any idea of it's just the ultra-ironic icing on the cake. Still, I'm surprised Yu Mei Ren agreed to all that, being a true ancestor and all. Oh, well, that's the part you find strange. I find her survival! Huh? Well, I don't suppose anyone with a finite lifespan could really understand the psychology of a truly eternal being. So I have to give Maresbury credit for being able to figure out what it was she wanted. It couldn't have been easy for him, convince her, since she really, really hates humans. At the very least, I'm sure he never offered anything as cheesy as a minx coat. I'm not sure what to make all of this, since I don't know Maresbury all that well. I'm sure Romani knew him well enough that he could weigh in with something useful, but... Romani! Let's go. We just got our butts handed to us by a vampire. Agreed, now that we made an enemy of Qin Shi Huang, lingering in one place for too long is tantamount to suicide. Got it. Then let's keep our camouflage bandit veiled up and put some distance between us and this place. Man, it really sucks that they took the border. Now we have to carry all our patient on foot. Please, no more tool. I couldn't eat another bite. I saw something that looked like a truck in the hangar. Maybe we could use that. You mean the thing they used when they brought me here? It may be better than walking, but we'll feel every bump of the road and then some. Well, beggars can't be choosers. We'll just make the best of it. Why is Koyan still coming with us? Long, long ago, this was a beautiful place. Even today, I still remember the time when there was nothing but in the sky but wind and nothing on the ground but plants. This was in ages past, long before anyone even thought to lay claim to this planet. Before I was separated from the world, before I even had form of my own. Good lord, she predates humans themselves, but my memories of what came after are all of fear, animosity, and perverse kind of envy. You and I both look the same, which is why I don't understand. Why do you hate me so much? Why do you despise me so? You attack me so viciously, but all because I can't die. I never asked for eternal life. I would have welcomed death. I would have liked nothing more than to fall into oblivion alongside my beloved. True Ancestor? Bloodsucker? I don't know anything about those, but that didn't stop you from deciding that's what I was. You said my inability to die made me unclean, that my inability to age made me a monster. None of you listened to what I had to say. Once you decided I was a monster, you just kept treating me like one. I understand you hate humans. I know you want nothing to do with us. But no matter how much you may wish it were otherwise, humans will never truly leave you alone. Once they learn you exist, executors will come far and wide to hunt you down. I cannot do anything to change that fact. As such, I cannot apologize on the behalf of humanity. All I can do is give you another outlet for your resentment. To keep my head bowed no matter what abuse you may heap upon it. It is with that in mind that I would like to make you a proposal, even if you think me shameless for doing so. If you wish to obtain peace and quiet, your only choice is to move yourself somewhere outside the bounds of human activity. Mankind has grown far too numerous. Indeed, this last century must have been a nightmare for you. They excavate mountains, chop down forests, and greedily expand their territory with no end in sight. You must have already realized that at this rate, there will no longer be any safe place left for you to hide. So speaking as one partially responsible for this state of affairs, I would like to offer you a deal. There is a small isolated community of mages in one of the most remote areas of the world. Its residents are well aware that prying into other community members' lives is taboo. I think you'll be right at home in Chaldea. As long as you play along with your false identity I will prepare for you, no one will ever be the wiser. In exchange, I would like you to assist me with my search. A quest of sorts to realize my family's greatest dream. Yes, I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Marisbury Atmosphere. I hope you can see that our interests align, Spirit of Gaia, as one of the last flowers of the moon left on Earth. I would love to have your help in making both our dreams come true. True human, Yu Mei Ren. Jeez, Marisbury knows what to say. I knew he was lying. Oh, or not. He was far from the first school who would try to uncover my secret in their own quest for immortality. Yet by this point, I was far too tired to tear him to pieces. I wasn't sure whether he was being truthful or not, but he was right about one thing at least. I no longer have any place in this land. There is no darkness to hide me, no light I can join. There is nowhere left for me to go. Even so, I can still feel the grip of his despair over my fate, coiling around my heart. Ah, Yu, my Yu, what will your fate be? That's right, I seek an end to eternity, a place where I can hold my head high and declare that I have gone as far as I can. My sole wish, my one final request, is that I may tell my dearly departed that he no longer needs to weep for me. Huh. Awakened fairy, it is time to return to reality. Okay. So we got a little bit of glimpse of her character here. So she hates humans because of what they did to, what they're doing to the planet. So she's an extreme hardcore environmentalist. She's depressed because she is living forever and cannot find a way to die. She's suicidal because she wants to find a way to die. She is an extreme introvert. And she's still pining after her long-lost love. She's a bit of a basket case, I feel. Just a bit. It has been 5 months since your arrival. We have now scanned your entire body 48 times in total. Our analysis is complete. Every last one of your body's secrets has been recorded within our memory circuits. We have at last learned the secrets of the Zenren's immortality. You did well, Fairy, or perhaps we should continue to call you Akuta Hinako. You may call me whatever you wish, Your Imperial Majesty. You may have anything you like as a reward, or is he alone still enough as you initially requested? He is, I desire nothing else. Then, per the terms of our agreement, we hereby bequeath custody of Kaiju Kwaji Zero to you. You have served us faithfully for centuries, our very first mechanical retainer. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. It is with heavy heart that I take your leave for the last time. Jiang Yu, We do not know what sort of name our mechanical retainer may have made for himself in your history. But was this Jiang Yu person worthy of being entrusted with your mystics, Zenren? I could ask much the same of you, Your Imperial Majesty. Why would you need to study me now when you have long since possessed the Fusang tree itself? Truly we did learn the mystics of life through our obtaining of the Fusang tree, but we never came across a single sage or fairy in all the time we spent exploring their lands. You are the first genuine fairy we have laid our eyes upon, Akuta Hinako. I see. At any rate, this fulfills the final part of our contract. Tell us, what will you do now? If possible, I'd like to stay in a remote part of your land and live out my days in peace. How modest of you, but will Chaldea let you do that? The Chaldeans have already incurred your wrath. There's no need to dirty my hands further. It is only a matter of time now before one of your valiant mountain warriors presents you with their heads. Ah, yes, we see. You do not want Jiang Yu to see you getting roughed, so to speak. Very well, we prefer this mild-mannered act to the true colors you displayed at An Keng, anyway. However, there is one thing we must ask you before you leave our service. Is this world going to perish? At this point, I can no longer tell which will emerge triumphant. The will of this world to survive, or the will of that world to see this world destroyed. All I can truthfully say is that I couldn't possibly care less. A good answer. We know now that if nothing else, you will never oppose us. Now then, if you'll excuse me. Are you sure about this, Your Imperial Majesty? I believe she knows more about the monsters that have invaded us than she's letting on. Yes, we are sure she does. I was shaken when she said she didn't care if this world lived or died, despite saying she would stay. She is a Zenren, a true human, the only one in this world who is on par with our royal personage. Had she voiced her intent to do something along the lines of protecting the world, then our wrath would have been swift and merciless. That would indicate her desire to fight us for this world, after all this time we spent protecting it. But that is not what she said. Indeed, she said she has no attachment to this world whatsoever. In consequence, she can coexist with us as we rule. But there can only be one human who controls the world in its entirety. Indeed, Your Imperial Majesty, it is just as you say. Having two or more humans exist inevitably leads to quarreling, so this cannot be permitted. As this world's only human, we shall guide the common people with our love. All they need to concern themselves with is tending their land, filling their bellies, sleeping and reproducing. What could be more peaceful? Yeah, that's totally not just making them into cattle or anything. Again, another world where humans are cattle, but I've reiterated this many times, so. The Shiquan Canyon. No battles this one. Oh boy. And we are nearly done. There's only apparently 16 sections here, so we are coming into the final act. Seems like somebody's been cured of their poison. You've got her hands behind her back. Good. Make sure that wire is nice and tight, and don't forget the shackles. Fo-fo! Oh, come on, is this really necessary? May I remind you, I just helped save your lives back there. I can't believe a little glucose drip is all it took to get already up and running again. Really goes to show what a unique person Mr. Goroff is, doesn't it, Senpai? Fo! Fo! Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable thoughts. Fo using her head as a dance floor. Fo! 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 I understand how you feel all too well, Tiny. In fact, I can no longer restrain myself either. Accursed wench, now that you're wearing a Chinese dress of all things. Your wiles won't work on me, Koyan. You won't ever fool me again. Now, what shall I do with you?
Oh no, I can't believe I've been captured by such a brute. Whatever will become of me now? He must have such atrocities in mind to put Qin Shi Huang to shame. A veritable smorgasbord of torture the likes of which has never been witnessed in all of human history. No doubt he's gonna carnally humiliate me in unspeakable ways after keeping me caged like a wild animal. Oh, I'm so scared.
Smorgasbord? Carnally humiliate? What? I mean, yes, I'm ruthless, but I'd never go that far.
Alright, that's enough of that. Remember, you and Soul Lives are still on the line here, Gordy.
Oh yes, that's right. Where is the antidote for the poison used on me and Soul? The one you promised to hand over in exchange for our help. I'll even spare you the shackles. Go on, then. Produce the antidote from that bountiful bosom of yours. Gordy, you and I have agreement on one thing, that, something is certainly bountiful of hers. Don't think I don't know how you... Oh man, Gordy, he's saying what everybody wants him to say, doesn't he? Oh, Gordolph, you are second best director. And there's only been 4 directors, so, you know, you're in the top 2, man. Oh, God, this line. Don't think I don't know how sexy your cleavage looks in that Chinese dress. Now hand over the antidote and make the hopes and dreams of every red-blooded male come true.
Of course, I'll keep my end of the bargain. Here you go. Just 1 bottle, that's it? That's right, a single dose is all I have, and do be warned, sharing it between you will just make it useless. What are you trying to pull? Oh, come on now, think about it. Would I really go to the trouble of preparing an antidote when the whole point of the poison was to kill my target? I just brought along a single dose for insurance, in case I ended up taking the poison myself by mistake. That's the one and only contingency I prepared for. Now, as I promised, I've handed over that single dose of contingency antidote to all of you. What happens next is out of my hands. I wonder which one will get to take it. His Excellency, the Great Gordolph, or Chaldea's one and only master. Just so you know, Soul, you don't have much time left either. You might not be feeling too bad thanks to Master's protection, but make no mistake, the poison is doing its job. Jian Shi Ming Mai dries you out from the inside. You only have a few days left to live at best.
Yeah, that's totally not been obvious by the fact we haven't been able to use our Mystic Code as much.
Senpai, as much as it sucks, I think we have to put our personal feelings aside in favor of the larger picture. So I suggest we...
Soul, I told you to a game of rock, paper, scissors. Huh? Only one of us will go on living. That means this is a clash between our wills to survive. And when the stakes are this high, rock, paper, scissors is the only truly impartial judge. He's not wrong, you know. Well, normally I would prefer coin toss, but that would give an unfair advantage. So rock, paper, scissors it is.
Mr. Gordolph, are you really sure you want to settle it like that?
It's alright, Mash. If they're content to make a decision this way, it is not our place to interfere. Just you, me, and whatever hand we choose to play. A fair fight if there ever was one. What do you say, young man? Alright, Gordy. I'll have you know, though, I've got clairvoyance. Very well. I'm glad you're being such a good sport about this. Win or lose, no hard feelings, okay? Well, that includes having one of your servants take it by force or other unbecoming chinchinery. Oh. This Mexican standoff. Alright, let's do this. Rock. Paper. Gotta go rock. Wait, what? Hey, Gordolph, why'd you use scissors there? I can't believe it. I thought the rock declaration was just a ploy and you were actually going to use paper. I was all set to use my scissors to cut your paper to ribbons, and now your rock stashed them to pieces. So you use reverse psychology, huh? You must have developed quite the eye for strategy after leading servants to restore humanity.
Hey, Gordy?
So I've lost, then I suppose I have no choice but to let you have the antidote.
Senpai. Good grief. Hey, Soul. It's been a good show and all, but I think it's time we got this over with, don't you?
Go for it. What? Hey, what's the meaning of this full Nelson junkie?
Okay, Gordy, open wide.
What are you... Hey, that's medicine.
There you go, down the hatch.
Are you nuts? Why'd you make me swallow it? That was the only antidote we had. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, Gordy, well, you see here, I'm pretty sure that I'll be brought back to life. I've got the Valkyries, I've got a Reshkagul. Mainly a Reshkagul, I'm pretty sure will bring me back to life if I die, so I'll be good. Yeah, you know what? That's not wrong. That is not a false statement. We would be dead quicker if we had fully eaten that cake. That's right, you only survived because Director Gordolf ate half of that cake. If you had eaten the whole thing, you would have died on the spot.
Indeed, whatever the circumstances may have been, the end result is that Gordolf saved Soul's life. And despite being well aware of that, he has not so much as mentioned it at all this time. No doubt he decided it would be unfair to hold that over Mr. Soul's head, given how he was able to head off into battle.
Well, I don't know if I'd quite put it that way.
Now we're even, good buddy.
You fool, where do you get off being so decent even at such a young age? But very well, this is of course merely a matter of priorities. There can be no team without its leader. Now that I'm fully back in action, all of our further plans are guaranteed to succeed.
Oh, I was wondering what her reaction. What a joke. How utterly revolting. Maybe I'll just gobble you up from the head down.
Oh, it seems we have a lady here who quite contained her murderous rage.
Who, me? Don't be silly. This has all been a hugely entertaining farce. Oh, there's nothing quite like humans, is there? I'm so touched I feel as though my heart might burst. Fo.
I'm afraid you have grossly underestimated us if you think that this little performance of yours would hide the truth. That medicine you handed over is not the only means of neutralizing the poison, is it?
Oh, and what are you basing that so hopeful assertion, might I ask?
That you chose to come to this particular Lostbelt in the first place. You made sure to wait until the time was right before you went about poisoning Mr. Soul. Were your poison truly incurable, you would only need to flee once the deed was done. And as long as you had managed to cover your tracks, you could escape without leaving a trace. And yet by the time we had arrived in this Lostbelt, you were already here. Now, why would you do something so foolish? The answer is simple, because there is something in this Lostbelt you needed to keep away from us. And what else could that be but a way to cure the poison you used?
I can't stand men who have nothing more to offer than their minds. I imagine you must have heard that from Irene Adler a lot too, didn't you?
I'll think you not draw comparisons between her and an agent of pure evil such as yourself.
Oh!
Now then, as we can be sure that Miss Koyon's purpose in coming here was to protect it, we must simply ask ourselves what this cure might be. It would have to be something already lost in proper human history, as well as something unattainable in any other Lostbelt which leaves...
the Fusang Tree!
Quite so, though there are many things unique to this Lostbelt, and the Fusang Tree is the only thing I can think of that would be impossible to obtain elsewhere. As the key of this to the Sage World Mystics, we know that it has no end of biochemical applications, as Qin Shi Huang has so aptly demonstrated. I see no other magecraft system that could possibly be used to refine such a strange and complex poison.
Well, I suppose there's no point in playing dumb any longer. Yes, you're right. That poison was derived from the Fusang Tree. The substance made by distilling its roots with the yin energy is called Xian Ming Mai, or Immortal Decline. And the one made by decorating its leaves with yang energy is called the Immortal Lifeline. Either way, whether you're making poison or antidote, you need something from the Fusang Tree. Of course, you could always make an antidote without the Fusang Tree, as long as you could extract something with the same components. But we all know how proper human history lost those kind of mystics long ago, don't we? Which means that the antidote I had with me was your one and only hope, given that I held Soul's life in my hands. I did consider making him my slave and forcing him to do my bidding, but I couldn't get Akuta's report out of my head. If only I had never heard her mention that there was a Lostbelt, where the Fusang Tree remained alive in human custody.
So once you knew, you felt you had no choice but to go there and guard it. You must be quite the warrior yourself.
I prefer to think of it as knowing when to hedge my bets.
Whatever you choose to call it, your instincts helped us out considerably for once. Once we obtain the Fusang Tree for ourselves, we can cure Mr. Soul's poison, correct?
Theoretically, yes. But to actually do that, you'd have to make your way to Xiangyang, where the Emperor is. Then you'd have to be insane to do that, wouldn't you? Hey, we're going to have to face off against the Emperor eventually, especially now that the Emperor is trying to wipe us out for being Confucians. Besides, we can't leave this Lostbelt until we find the Tree of Emptiness and chop it down.
The hidden Tree of Emptiness, well, I suppose it all boils down to the same thing. At any rate, curing Mr. Soul's poisoning remains our top priority. Can I assume our next destination to be Xiangyang then, Director?
Yes, of course. After all, we do need to get our hands on the antidote at all costs. As Chaldea's director, I'm personally responsible for the lives of my staff, and that includes Soul. I certainly can't afford to go around dying first.
Well said, Director.
Fo-fo!
Don't you worry, my boy. We'll find a way to save you. You just see if we don't. You hang in there and focus on defeating Qin Shi Huang.
So relieved I know we're not out of the woods yet, but at least this takes care of one big problem.
Indeed it does.
It's great to finally see Director Gordoff back on his old self again, isn't it, Senpai?
Indeed it is. A quartz and some homunculus Otiris of blood. T.O.B.